Time for another Joe Talk. Now, you've heard of the TED Talk. TED is, what is TED? It's technology, entertainment, education. And Joe is just ordinary education, that's all. The Joe Talk today is about staying tough. This is the great one. Tough times never last, but tough people do. And I'm going to sound like Robert Schuller, and I have the glasses to match and also the palm trees behind me like he used to do in California. But this is a Florida one now. Now we're in Florida, God's waiting room. And I want to talk to you about this little thing that's happened with Charlie Sheen to begin with. Charlie Sheen, first of all, he's on all burners, with sex and drugs and rock and roll and what's the other thing? I think greed, right? Probably. He hit all the burners. And it's a pretty interesting life that we have. If sex were so satisfying, and if money were so satisfying, and if everything that drugs were so satisfying, then all of these dealers, all of these users, all of these bankers would then be happy. You never see them smile. They're never happy. They're not happy. They have that shot, that 6 seconds for a moment. But, the happiness comes from really following your dream, your passion inside, the one inside, And that's the Joe Talk, so that's why I'm on this video all the time. I am following my dream. I knew that radio was dead as we knew it, and it needed to evolve into something, into my heart, not iHeart, my heart, and my conscience, the conscience where I flicked Jiminy Cricket off my shoulder when I was doing drugs, on the way to Pleasure Island. But this is a different kind of a world we live in now, where there's a lot of distractions. Everybody's trying to get attention. And when we spend all of our time worrying about Donald Trump, who's getting to run for president and getting a free ride, not that I don't like him, I think he's entertaining, but a lot of people are very entertaining and not necessarily in politics. I think people who want to be on TV very badly and want the public's eye, like myself, we want acceptance. We never had it as kids, probably. When I was a kid, to get attention, I used to have to, frankly, yank on my mother's chain there. And they had a good way of handling me. They let me do whatever I wanted to do. Consequently, I'm lucky I didn't wind up in prison. But it's a joke that we have this obsession with being on the media, being on television, being famous and rich. Rich is good. Famous is not what you think it is. There's something behind the curtain, the hidden thing. I went to a lottery winners dinner at the Waldorf Astoria. All the lottery winners in New York State at the time, throughout the years that they had won the lottery, and everybody was there. The cardinal was there, the mayor of the city, the governor, everybody sitting on this dais, and my wife and I were the two only people invited that were not winners. We were just guests. And I said to her on the way home, I said, I never saw a more unhappy crowd in my life except for Love Boat. I think they ought to do the lottery show like they did Love Boat. Aaron Spelling ought to do the lottery winners, because it doesn't fill you like you think it does. There was Curtis Sharp. He was the first guy to win the lottery big time. And he had a hooker and I don't think he ever married her, and a wife, and he gave the money to both of them. It's amazing what we do when we have fame and power and fortune. And even why would anyone, if they have a lot of money, if you have money and you are famous and you are celebrated, why would you want to be president? What drives you to want to run a country? Because you think you can. And I'll tell you what happens after the election. See, first of all, they swear you in office. It happens every time. Republican, Democrat, socialist, libertarian, whatever you are, they're going to, after you are sworn in, they take you downstairs in the White House and show you the training film. And then you know exactly that you're going to have to do what the other guy did. It's all the same. They got to ask us to vote on stuff. Ask us to vote as to whether we want to have people come into our country now. We're all afraid of anybody taking care of us again. We had this happen after 9/11, so we don't want anybody to take care of us who's not equipped, and we also don't want people to come in here and interfere and bring us their dirty feet. And you don't know who they are, because we let everybody in here into this country. That's how I got in. The thing is, how am I going to get out? That's it. What's the exit plan? I'm like George Bush. I don't have a way out of this thing, you know. Anyway, that's enough political talk. I just wanted to mention to you that I was back in Times Square as soon as they had that bomb on 43rd, 44th Street in the car. I did my show from the NASDAQ window right on the corner, and we reopened Times Square. We got back to regular business right after that happened, next day. And I was on the television on NBC's digital channel where everything's going right now. Everything's going to be digital right now. So we were the first ones to have a regular NBC digital show. And I was on the channel right there, right in Times Square, and people came along, and it was just great to have the participation. And I never forgot my motto, and I hope you don't either. Tough times never last, but tough people do. Did I say it like Robert Schuller? Oh, tough times never last, but tough people do.